I'm a pit bull, and I approve this message.
Hello, hello, hello.
I'm a pit bull, and I approve this message.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
I love that. I'm a pit bull, you're a pit bull, we all pit bulls. Hey, top of the morning, Danny.
What's up, brother, man? How you
Good
doing?
to see you, baby. All right, hey, here we go. This is show number 13. The lucky number 13 reminds me of my partner and good friend for many years, Will Chamberlain, so it's always a good number. We got a good show for you today, and it's appropriate, that I'm going to call this the State of the Pit Bull Address Show. All right, so first of all, but let me say on my notes, we want to send some prayers out and good wishes to Cheryl Herca's friend, who is a friend and partner on the show, Lisa Casavant, I believe it is, and she got sick and fell ill on the pit bull walk, the bully walk.
Oh, wow.
And she's in ICU, and we want to send her love and prayers and her family, and hope for quick recovery. And also,
You're watching Conversation.
my friend Catherine Savage, and you guys find her on Facebook because she's been an advocate for many years and supporter, not of just us, but of the dogs and pit world. Period. She's ill and she needs support and a little bit of financial aid. So anybody that's got a couple of extra bucks hanging around in their purses and wallets, throw them her way. So look up on Facebook, Cheryl Savage. Catherine Savage. Now,
We also want to send a birthday shout out to Paula Archer's friend, Anita Evans. She's having a birthday, so she
Really?
wanted us to throw that in. Hey, Anita.
hey, happy birthday to you. And so I want to say, first of all, thank you so much for the support of last week's shows. We got our numbers up. We crossed 2,000 for the first time. Hi.
That's right.
And that's great. Now, but the bad part about that is that, and that's what I'm getting to, you pit bull people, you rescue people, you cross-poster people, you guys got to understand something, that you are, along with us, we are in the fight of your life. Facebook is clamping down on all of the dog posts and the dog groups, and I get so many emails, and I'm part of probably 400 groups around the world, so I have a pretty good sense of what's going on around, and you guys better start getting active, besides the posts and stuff. The reason that we started this show is because the media has deem these dogs the devil dogs and the bad and all that. It's the media. So what my concept was to fight back with the media. And this is a media show. I don't know anything else out there like what we're doing, or a sort of a voice of truth. We try to highlight people and show the community, bringing them together and what's going on around the world in not just pit bulls, but all the dogs. So you rescue groups, you cross posters, you better get active. And when I say that, I mean, don't like us on Facebook. Yeah, do that. But I've become very familiar now with how the power works, in the media and these things, and particularly the web. So what we're doing, we need support. Go to the YouTube page and like it, become a subscriber so we can get those numbers up, so that supports the things that we're trying to do. And not just do that for you, but do it like, you'll pass on a little card or a little cute picture to 100 of your friends. You people with 500 friends and 2,000 friends and all that kind of stuff, make people go to it. Make people understand that we're a voice. We're trying to support you guys. It is not about us. I don't have a rescue. Danny doesn't have a adoption group, or we're not cross posters. We can't do that. We're doing what we do, and we need you guys to support us so we can continue to support you guys. I sell oranges by the freeway all week and take these pit bull cans back to the recycler just to keep us on the air. We're not asking for money, but we are asking for a click. And if you can't get 100 or 200 or 500 of your friends just to go and find out about this show and support it, then that's a shame, because we won't be here if we don't get the support. We're taking the media thing to another level. Danny and I want to start traveling, and besides the conversations with the Pitbull page, some of you guys might know that I've been fortunate enough to get the okay on some funding, so we're putting the Sergeant Stubby movie, my version of it, into pre-production. So we're going to be, casting pit bulls, and that project for me is one that I've always wanted to do, and now we can make it a reality. And it's one that, again, it's media, and what we will be able to do is put a pit bull out there. It's always been my vision to have a pit bull as Lassie, bring Petey back from the our gang, put the pit bull in the media so that it is a positive image across the board.
Put the pit back in pictures.
Put the pit back in pictures. So that's all of my little rant for today. So that's what I'm saying.
That's all? You sure?
Yeah, I think just for a while. But
you want some energy drink?
Yeah,
came in amped up, firing off on the social community.
Conversations with a pit bull live.
That's my brother, man. I like that.
It's about change, and we can't be passive.
Brought to you by Pitbull Energy Drink. Available in a wide variety of flavors, guaranteed no aftertaste.
It's called the anti-pit bull hype or whatever.
What kind of dog does Dracula
people like
have?
Fred Kray. I've tried to assemble a team of people. I've tried to bring people
Please
on
support your local
to
rescue
help
groups.
change
They do more
things.
to support your
this
community
Paula
than
Archer,
any others.
awesome. She's in rescue.
You're watching
She's
Conversations
working.
with a Pit Bull
I had
Live,
two people in the
a
last
show
2
about
weeks
dogs,
who do
the people that
rescue
love them,
work,
and real
call me and
issues.
send me emails
Brought to you
crying.
by Pitbull
Say
Energy
they got to
Drink.
take a break. It's
Available
just too
in a
many
wide
dogs
variety
being
of
killed,
flavors,
too many dogs
guaranteed no
without homes.
aftertaste.
Yeah, I can't take it. It breaks my heart because these people are my friends.
What kind
You
of
guys are
dog
my
does
friends.
Dracula have?
I'm hitting this for change. If we can't make change, I don't want to do it. So I'm saying, please. Let's
support your
come
local
together,
rescue
do the
groups.
work.
They do
If you
more
can
to
hit your
support your
button for
community than
all
any
of the
others.
funny, fun stuff. Hit
You're
your button
watching
for
Conversations
change.
with a
This is
Pit
the
Bull Live,
one show
a
that
show about
I'm
dogs,
on a
the people
mission
that love
for
them,
change.
and
And if
real
you guys help
issues.
me, then I
Brought to
promise
you by
I'll come
Pitbull Energy
through.
Drink.
Now,
Available in a
with
wide
that,
variety of flavors,
I have in the
guaranteed no
studio
aftertaste.
today a guest, a person that I've been a fan
What kind of dog does Dracula?
longer than
Conversations
he knew.
with a Pit Bull Live,
I had heard
a show
about
about
him
dogs,
before I
the
got
people that
active
love them,
in the
and
pit,
real issues.
movement.
Brought to you
and
by
trying
Pitbull
to
Energy
do
Drink.
anything for change.
Available in a
This
wide
guy
variety of flavors,
has been on the ground
guaranteed no
floor.
aftertaste.
He's taking the hard licks. He's taking the hard knocks. He wasn't
What
feeling
kind of
me
dog
when
does
I first
Dracula
met him.
have?
He was like, "Oh, this is guy,
Conversations.
right?" But without further ado, I just want to say in the studio today, we have with us Josh Liddy from SwayLove.com and his dog. And Josh should be on camera in a second. We got a pit bull. We got Josh's pit bull in the studio with us. And baby, is she just like having fun. Look at her. She's
like
up on
all
our engineer. I'm loving it. Hey, come here, baby.
Oh, come on.
Don't come over the board.
Something
Yes, Lord.
disrespectful or anything.
Hey, we got you. You got to see this. You got to see this dog. This is a beautiful dog. Josh, can you get her up on camera?
You hear?
Yeah, I did. I think. I don't know. Hello. Yep, I think I'm up.
What's up, Josh? How you doing, brother?
Oh, this is a bad plug.
I'm
Here,
good
man.
trying to keep this dog wrangled in.
Yeah, look at her. That's a girl. She's running around the studio.
Okay.
Hey, well, look, we're gonna come back with more with Josh in a second. Speaking of change, let's pay some bills real quick and from our good sponsors over at Pitbull Energy Drink.
That's
and,
right,
We'll be
'cause
right back with more with Josh.
I gotta take some of these
And you
cans
guys,
to the
too.
recycler this evening.
Conversations with a Pit Bull Live, a show about dogs, the people that love them, and real issues. Brought to you by Pit Bull Energy Drink. Available in a wide variety of flavors, guaranteed no aftertaste.
What kind of dog does Dracula have? A bloodhound.
Please support your local rescue groups. They do more to support your community than any others.
Don't worry about her. She's cool.
Yeah, I got my dog running around crazily in the studio, so all this background noise is attributed to this Krakens.
Don't worry. She's at home, man.
But yeah, I basically started as doing photography for shelters, not for shelters, but going into shelters and doing photography for pit bulls, trying to network them and get them homes. And then while I was doing all that work and being on the ground so much, you begin to see kind of how the shelters work. You begin to see what goes on inside of these shelters. So, and a lot of that is negative. So I started talking about it. So it turned into, my website turned into basically half pit bull advocacy site, half shelter reform site. And I started, you mentioned the Riverside thing. I'm involved in, trying to fight back against breed-specific legislation wherever it is coming into play. And unfortunately, here in California, it seems to be coming into play in certain counties and cities, and in different ways. A lot of it is spay and neuter oriented, but at the same time, that's breed-specific legislation as well, because it's strictly aimed towards pit bulls and pit bull type dogs. And there's lots of problems with these laws, and
tell us what was going on in Riverside. Like we were following that a little bit with Fred and trying to see. Could you tell us, the people out there, a little bit specifically what was going on out in Riverside?
Well, since the mauling that happened with the jogger, where there was 4 roaming dogs that attacked that person. I forget which city it was in, and different incidents like that. They've kind of piggybacked and exploited those instances to try and put these laws into place. So through state law, you cannot ban a breed of dog. This is not allowed in California. So basically, they're doing the next best thing and trying to institute a mandatory spay and neuter law for just pit bulls, basically in an effort to publicly, it's kind of presented as we want to bring kill numbers down because we're killing X amount of pit bulls in the shelter, and that's how they kind of grandstand on the legislation publicly. But if you actually attend the events like I did, I actually attended the Board of Supervisors meeting at the county, at Riverside County, and it was followed by Riverside City passing the same exact law. You listen to the Board of Supervisors and the councilmen talk about these dogs, has nothing to do with bringing kill numbers down. It strictly has to do with vilifying the dogs, treating them as if they're inherently dangerous, treating them as if they're monsters. And this is how the media portrays them as well while they're talking about the law. So, some people would argue this is a good thing because it's a spay and neuter law. And, I have no problem with spay and neuter. That's obviously something that you promote with any dog. All my dogs are spayed and neutered. But when the verbiage is used to target specific dogs in an effort to vilify them at the same time and essentially eliminate them from their county, because that's what they want to do. They can't ban them per se, but they're trying to. This is kind of a step. When this goes through, it kind of leads to something else. So a year from now, politicians may be pushing for a statewide breed-specific spay and neuter for pit bulls, and maybe a year after that, it leads to a ban. It leads to a rescinding of the current language in the law, and then it leads to a possible ban 2 or 3 years from now. So this is an important thing. Right. And the key people should take away is that it's targeting specific breeds of dogs for negative things, and this is affecting millions of dogs and millions of people. And there's already dangerous dog laws on the books.
Right.
Like if you just follow the current laws, you don't have to bring breed specific anything into the conversation.
Josh, tell everybody out there, what do you think that they can do? I mean, am I crazy when I'm saying we have to fight the media with media? You know, I mean, we have to have a voice. One, have media voice, but two, you know, come together so we can move as a group. You know, I don't know, like the thing that you're doing and with Riverside, right?
Right.
They haven't gotten 5,000 emails, you know, 10,000 emails from groups and stuff because, you know, people hear about it and everybody's in their own little zone and we don't move as a force. But the people who are going against these dogs, it's all right, baby, it's all right. The people who are going against these dogs they're organized and they move as a group, you know, I mean.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you know, components of both sides are fairly organized. I agree with you that a lot of, you know, from a right and wrong standpoint, these laws are completely unjust. And if people had the information and knew what was going on, it would be, you know, 90 plus for you know, these dogs to back these dogs. Because the truth is, these instances are 1, 2, 3, 4 happening, you know, and there's millions of these dogs.
Exactly.
My dog hasn't done anything.
Right.
She hasn't mauled one of you guys while we're in the studio.
That's right.
So, I mean, this, you know, and you can go to any shelter. I go to Carson so many times to photograph. You know, there's 50 pit bulls in there at any given time. They never harm anybody or attack anybody. So, unfortunately, the people that are making all the noise on the other end is a very small group, but they're very, very dedicated and calculated, and they're scheming and they use tactics that with the internet you can basically create aliases and basically put out messages over and over, and it looks like it's coming from you know, different people.
Yep.
This is literally what's going on.
Josh got thrown off there by this baby pit bull. She's active and alive. She's comfortable, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Hey.
That's a good thing. Ryan, our engineer, he's not used to dogs because they have. Yeah, he loves them, but they have studios. So
used to run in the studio with the dog.
yeah, right. He doesn't bring pit bulls to work like we do.
I'll bring my dog next week.
Yeah, there you go. Bring him, man. We love dogs in here.
Hey, so we're gonna try to get Fred Kray on the line.
Oh no, not him.
Yeah, Fred. Speaking of good information, Fred as always blesses us with some stuff. But real quick, Brian, before you do that, let's could you pull up that pick 10 for me real quick? I wanted to talk about a couple of stories that I found that were fun in the news. There was a study done earlier this month about dogs and their tail wagging, and they were talking about how dogs that wag their tail, you know, to the right, you know, they indicate that they're not only happy, but they're kind of their disposition is okay. But dogs that wag their tails to the left predominantly, like, they're a little antsy and anxiety, or they have some stress.
Is that right?
And they did a test on, like, I think they used like 43 dogs or whatever, but they also found out that dogs sense this in other dogs. So if a dog sees another dog that's wagging its tail like more to the right, then they tend to have a better disposition or better interaction with them. But when they see them wagging their tail a little bit to the left, it indicates stress. And that they thought that this little, they thought it was like kind of like a breakthrough, because it may help with the animal-human interaction about how we perceive dogs. You know, most of the time we associate dog tail wagging with happiness, but there's actually like distinctions and stuff, within that. But also, if you go to that next picture, Ryan, also they dedicated a memorial earlier this week for military dogs that have served in wars throughout the years, and I thought that was really cool. You were talking earlier this week about Sergeant Stubby, and that, you know, like he's obviously like the one that gets the moniker, but there are like tons of dogs that provide different services and help people keep people safe and risk their lives and also bring our soldiers happiness. So I wanted to send some love out to our soldiers and also the dog soldiers, the four-legged ones that are out there doing their thing. I mean, you see so many cool service dogs. I mean, Landa brought in her search dog, Glory, the other week, and I just thought those two stories were kind of cool. So. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you.
Sure.
Those are just two cool little fun tidbits and whatnot. If you guys have some cool stories, definitely email us or contact us on Facebook so we can get into that. We're going to reach out to Fred Kray and see what he's up to right now on the Skype. And
The audio is cutting out. People saying on the chat.
oh, really?
Yeah. Just so.
While we bring up Skype.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna bring Fred up.
Yeah, well, I'm calling him right now.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry, Fred. We're coming right out there to you. Foster, didn't you say there was somebody? What was her name? Lisa. That was not feeling well. I know you mentioned people up front, but was she one of the people that you were talking about that needed us to send some love out in Massachusetts?
Yeah, that Lisa Casavan, and maybe Cheryl can either text or come up on the chat and tell us more about that, and I can give you more information.
Well, Lisa, wherever you are, I mean, I know the people in the chat room are sending their love. I just wanted you to know that we're sending our love out to you, and we really appreciate you. So, but we got our buddy Fred who's chiming in right now. Let's see if Fred is available to drop some science on us. Fred, are you there?
I'm always here.
Hey.
Always?
Just waiting to hear from you. Always.
My man.
That's right, man. How you doing?
Well, I want to say two things. One, I see Josh is wearing a Miami Heat hat.
Yeah, he snuck that in on us.
And Foster is wearing a Dolemite T-shirt, which is dating
Oh,
you,
you bagging
Foster.
on the heat?
Yeah,
like
man.
that?
All these dress code signs that I posted outside the studio are doing nothing. But you look pretty spiffy. I mean, you're according to the rules and regulations of collared shirts. And
Hey, I was going to wear a tie. But I thought I'd go casual.
oh yeah, your normal tuxedo that you rock every week.
So there's a couple things. First of all, Josh is going to debate one of the city councilmen, I think, on pit bull sterilization. Josh, when is that?
Josh, when are you debating you're supposed to be debating somebody soon, right? One of the
Yeah,
councilmen.
I just can't hear, so I don't know.
Did you plug it in? It's a little thingamajigger over there.
Those headphones are broken.
Oh.
Go ahead, Fred. Josh is trying to get his headphones straight. He's got the wrong earphones on. But
All right. Well, anyway, he's going to be debating Riverside County, I think, has passed a law saying that only pit bulls need to be sterilized, and he's going to be debating that with, and it'll be interesting to see how that transpires. Josh, a great advocate out there on the West Coast. I really like the kind of things he does and the work he does, taking pictures of shelter dogs that may not make it out. It's hard to do, and it's a great job, and I congratulate him on that. The other big news this week is, I don't know if you guys heard about Puppy Doe in Quincy, Massachusetts.
Yes.
Abused and tortured, ungodly, terrible thing. They finally caught the perpetrator.
Mm-hmm.
They found him by matching bloodstains in his house to the dog. He's in jail. He has $500,000 bail. So
Gotta go to a picture.
the idea that the police would spend that much time and effort on a dog issue is commendable. It doesn't happen all the time. So hats off to the Quincy, Massachusetts Police Department for following through on that and finding the perpetrator. So, I mean, that's great news because there was no clues. They basically had to ask the public for tips, and those tips led them to find him. So that's a great story for me. There's also we've been working on some DNA. I'm sure your listeners want to know how DNA works with pit bulls and how you identify them. And we've been working in a case in Swinton, Ohio, where a pit bull got a DNA test and somehow it got leaked to the newspaper. And when they asked the prosecutor, what is his evidence that the dog is a pit bull, he sent them a copy of the newspaper article where they reported the results.
Wow.
And the problem with that is that the prosecution has the burden of going forward, and they have the burden to show that the dog is a pit bull. How are they going to get the pit bull DNA test into evidence? Is the big question. And the answer is not very easily. You can't call the newspaper and say, hey, did you hear from some guy on Thursday that they had this done? You've got to get it into evidence. You've got to have a chain of custody. It was a saliva test, which is different than a blood test. And in talking to the genetic guys that I know, if a dog licks another dog just before that saliva test is done, it contaminates the saliva, and you may have that dog's saliva will be mixed in, and you won't get the right result.
Remember, Fred, last time we talked, you were talking after you got back from that convention that you went down in Florida. You were talking a little bit about some of the language that people can use when they are making these arguments, or when they are in forums where they have to engage people that are kind of on the other side or on the fence. And I was wondering, Josh, how have you prepared for going into this debate, or how do you keep from just being like completely just emotional about the stuff and just kind of like dropping the facts and whatnot?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
we'll talk a little bit about the importance of that.
It's easy to be emotional. It's an emotional issue, but there's so many facts that are on the side of the pit bull and just dogs in general and dog owners in general, that you just got to remain calm and point those things out. Like Fred was saying, one of the main problems with the law in Riverside County is exactly what he just said.
DNA
they shift the burden of proof to the actual owner of the dog. So basically, this law's been passed. So when they go in and they take somebody's dog, it's then deemed a pit bull by animal control. They have no ability to visually identify these dogs.
No training.
Yeah, no training. Even the Animal Control Association doesn't even do training in breed identification. And so when they come in and impound these dogs, they call it a pit bull. That then becomes the evidence. So that then becomes the facts.
Guilty until proven innocent.
And the owner of that dog then has to prove that the dog is not a pit bull, which is the exact opposite of how it works in America. And this is America, if I'm not,
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, due process requires the government to come forward and prove that they had the right to seize your property. They can't seize it and say, we think it's a pit bull and now it's up to you to prove it. They have the burden to go forward.
But you're also talking about how they don't even really value property is such for people that love dogs, it's hard to even refer to your dog as like property, but they don't even value in many instances that the dog has value. Like, am I right, Fred? I think you were talking about that a couple weeks ago.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that what we all have to learn right now, and Josh knows this because we've talked about it, is that the way to argue this sterilization issue is, look, first of all, mandatory sterilization has never worked. You can point to a lot of different places for that. But if you're going to have mandatory sterilization, have it for all dogs. Make all dogs less populated. It's not just an overpopulation pit bull problem. It's an overall dog problem of overpopulation. Backyard breeders, if you're going to do it and you want the entire population to go down, do it for everyone. But it doesn't work. People who can't afford in the underserved communities to get their pit bulls neutered or spayed, they're just going to hide their dogs.
Right.
And the people who can afford it will get it done. But that still leaves that great number of people who haven't gotten it done, and it doesn't work.
And to follow up on that point, the idea of targeting all dogs in general, because that's what they are, as dogs, it brings other people into the fold to where their dogs are then targeted as well. Pit bull people are out on an island alone, basically, and other dog owners really they're not engaged in the issues either way because their dogs aren't affected. So if
they don't have a dog in the fight.
Right. And if talking about the mandatory spay and neuter laws and breed neutral laws and all that, if that's what they, like Fred was saying, they don't work. But if that's what they want to do it for all breeds. Like LA County and LA City have already tried mandating spay and neuter, and they don't even enforce it.
Yeah.
Riverside City, which is where I'm going next Friday to debate the councilman, they already have a mandatory spay and neuter law for all breeds. And yet they've enacted this on top of that. They didn't even enforce that.
Well, I mean, this stuff, it just starts getting me riled up, honestly. And I'm just glad that there are guys that can drop some specific knowledge on people, because like majority of this, it just you just want to be quiet sometimes, because the energy and the emotion that you feel when you see this stuff going down, it's just so irrational to me. But Fred, I want to thank you, buddy, for tuning in and sharing with us again. Tell everybody where they can tune in and listen to Pit Bulletin Legal News.
It's 8 p.m. Every Tuesday night Eastern Standard Time. This week we're going to have on a lady who wrote a book called A Dog Named Boo. We've got Deirdre Franklin from Pinups for Pit Bulls, who's going to talk about the events that she went to this week. We've got Yvette Van Veen, who's a trainer, who's going to do the Puppy Chronicles. She's going to follow a puppy every week. This is week 2, about what you should do with your puppy to socialize it during the first, month or so that you have it. We've got BSL alerts from Chris Diaz, and of course, my charming personality is the host.
All right. Well, that's our buddy Fred Kray. Everybody, make sure you tune into his show. And thank you again, Fred.
See you, Fred.
No.
Hey, we're gonna.
All right, Coster.
Hey, man. See you later.
Dolemite.
You know that. We'll talk in a second, brother. Thank you, sir.
We'll be right back.
All right.
We're gonna pay a couple bills real quick. You guys are tuned in watching Conversations with a Pit Bull Live, and we'll be right back.
Conversations with a Pit Bull Live, a show about dogs, the people that love them, and real issues. Brought to you by Pit Bull Energy Drink, available in a wide variety of flavors, guaranteed no aftertaste.
What did the hungry Dalmatian say after his meal? That hit the spots.
Please support your local rescue groups. They do more to support your community than any others.
All right, guys, we're back. That was some awesome information from Fred, and I'm just glad to see that Josh is going to be down there next week, dealing with some of these issues. Our next guest is her name is Theresa. Theresa, if you're out there, the Mill Dog Mama, could you go ahead and Skype in to us? I think Ryan's going to try to. Hold on, let me grab that, Ryan. Let me find your Skype handle real quick. But Josh, tell us a little bit. Talk to us a little bit more. What you guys and Fred were talking about was how they're putting the onus on the dog owners now to. It's kind of like working the reverse way that normal stuff seems to work.
Right, and that's completely unconstitutional. And what's going to end up happening is they're going to take somebody's dog, and someone's going to fight back legally. And when that happens, the county's going to be sued, the city's going to be sued, and hopefully the law will be overturned at that point. But it's definitely a poorly written law, and it's completely unconstitutional in those ways. So with the breed identification, that, like I was saying earlier, they're not qualified to do it. There's no scientific evidence that points to dogs being pit bulls or not. The visual identification, which is what they're using, is completely unreliable. There's a study out there, Victoria Voigt did this study, and she actually did it. One of the shelters she used was Riverside County. And it was something like 72% of the time, animal control workers can't even identify their own impounded dogs, and this is all breeds.
Wow.
When you match up what the identification that they give their impounded dogs with actual DNA evidence, 70-some odd percent of the time they were actually wrong. And this is what they're using to determine if it's a pit bull, either that or if the prior owner says it's a pit bull, or if the rabies certificate says it's a pit bull. But still, there's no identification process. It's just basically someone saying it's a pit bull, and that's what they use. And if that evidence isn't available, they'll then use their own judgment and say, well, that is or that isn't, and that becomes the evidence.
You know what, Ryan? Could you go ahead and prep that first video for us? Because we're going to try to get Theresa on deck with her Skype. We're trying to send a call out to her really quick. She's with the Mill Dog Rescue.
I'm playing with my dog over here. And everyone is saying the video is choppy and everything. You know, catch the YouTube version for sure. And Danny and I will fix it up, you know, because I don't want to say all that stuff I said before at the top of the show again, but I think I was right.
Well, we'll be right back. We're going to try to get Theresa Strader online. You guys chill out and check out this video of me and Foster out in the Midwest somewhere.
All right, hey, so we're done in Chicago. It was a great time. We're about to head out to Indiana now, bring you guys some information from there. Pitbull energy drink. Have you guys seen Danny? I hope he's not walking around in there again. See you guys. Danny!
We are in Indiana, out here at the Porter County Animal Shelter. Yeah, representing, you know, we're going to go inside and talk with Katie and our buddy John to see exactly what it is that they do out here.
We might let Danny talk with him, man, because, you know, me and animal shelters, I can't take it. I start crying and shit.
Hey, what's really cool is this is one of the few no-kill shelters in Indiana.
That's true. That's
so
true.
we're going to go see what the business is. Come on.
No kill.
Hi guys. I'm alright. Nice to meet you. Come on in.
Okay, hey, y'all caught me sneaking around. All right, look, we're gonna sneak in on John Thomas. He's the director of the facility here. Since we're in Indiana, let's see what we can do. Hey, John.
Yes,
How
sir.
you doing?
Good.
Foster Quarter. Hey, Danny and I just raided you guys' facility here, and we're wondering, as we look around, can you tell us what you do here and more about the facility than we might know?
What we do here is we are a safe haven for homeless adoptable pets. And we are a no-kill shelter. We consistently operate above 90%. We care about every living thing that comes in here. And if they're not too seriously injured or they're not too vicious and unacceptable, we'll get them homes. Operating in a facility this size, which is just a hair over 4,000 square feet, in a county that has 130,000 plus people that we serve, is a challenge just about every day of the year. It's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of hours, but to me it's a lot of fun and it's very, very rewarding.
My name is Kate Vanderlyn, and I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator here at the Porter County Animal Shelter. We are a county facility, and I was hired in about a little over 5.5 years now to help turn the shelter into a no-kill shelter of adoptable animals. Our mission at this shelter is to, first and foremost, obviously, promote as many adoptions as we can, get as many animals into decent homes, but it's also to lower the population of the county. Statistically, within 5 years of a shelter going from a high-kill to no-kill shelter, the population in the area goes down drastically, and in the last 5 years we've already seen a difference in that. The main challenge that we face is that our shelter is too small. This facility was built a long time ago on the theory that it was to hold animals for 3 to 5 days, and then they would be euthanized. So us coming in, it was a really big challenge to turn this into a no-kill facility. We've managed to do so, but it's been very difficult, and we've had a lot of challenges. Some of the misconceptions sometimes that people have about shelters is people in the back of their heads, I believe, have that old school connotation that shelters are pounds, and it's where you drop your animal off and you no longer want them anymore, and then they have 3 days and they get put down. That's not the case with every shelter. Unfortunately, there are a lot of shelters that have to run like that. They don't have the support they need, either from the community, the money from the county or the town that they're in. A lot of shelters are private shelters. They can make the decisions, what their managed intake is, what they want to intake, what they decide and choose to adopt out or euthanize. So I think what a lot of people, look at shelters also is they don't understand what a day in the shelter is like. You never know what's going to come through that door. You never know what's going to hit you. You think that one minute you may just be running an adoption, and a dog comes through the door that was a stray that was hit by a car. The phone's constantly ringing off the hook. There's all these things that just the daily cleaning processes and making sure that all the animals are getting medicated and that there's vet appointments and that the public, having to deal with the public is one of the biggest and the hardest part of our day. It's not the animals, it's having to deal with a lot of the public. But I think people really don't a lot of the times know what our job is. I feel like it's either the opposite. Either people really commend us for what we do, or people either really think we should be doing better or don't understand what we're doing. Some of the other components that help our shelter exist are absolutely rescue groups. This area, Northwest Indiana, has just had just an uprise of rescue groups here, I'd say in the last, about 6 years or so, within this last decade. These rescue groups we work very closely with. They come in, they'll help us foster, pool animals. My name is Kate Vanderlyn, and I am the Community Outreach Coordinator at the Porter County, Indiana Animal Shelter. What I want to encourage everybody to do is to spay and neuter your pets. If you cannot afford it, there are plenty of resources out there. Contact your local animal shelter and they can help you out, hopefully. I'd also like to encourage you never to buy from a pet store and to take a trip to your local animal shelter or get online and find an animal who's homeless and in need. I would also like to encourage you, although there are many bigger organizations out there, I encourage you to support your local shelter, whether it be volunteering or a monetary donation. Locally always is helping make a bigger change.
Hi, I'm John Thomas. I'm director of the Porter County Animal Shelter. We are located just south of Highway 30 in Valparaiso, Indiana. We are a no-kill shelter. I encourage people to support your local animal shelters, volunteer, foster, donate. Try and help get the adoption rates up. The less time the animals spend in the cages, the better.
Hey, and we're sneaking all over this joint. They don't have a cubby hole or a cage or anything we won't find, So Foster and Danny here in Porter County, Indiana at the shelter. See you later.
If you would like to help our shelter or learn more about us, you can visit us on the web at www.portercoanimalshelter.com. We could always use your support.
All right,
Hey.
yeah. So that was us out in Indiana when we went out and visited. We were out there for the Puppy Mill Project out in Chicago.
That's right.
And then we hopped in the car and ran over to Indiana and
they didn't lock me up either.
we were just trying to get some info from people that work at the animal shelters, because a lot of times they get a bad rap as well. People think they're like, oh, you know what, it's just a death chamber. Like, they got like some huge furnace in there and people are just like shoveling dogs and these are like evil people. But like, no, a lot of these people are on the same side of the fence. They're doing hard, honest work to try to help these dogs. And a lot of the times they're underfunded, just like the rescues and whatnot. But the Porter County guys were just doing so much good work with outreach and working with the rescues. And, they've got a school program that they're trying to implement. So we just wanted to play that little clip just to give you guys an idea kind of like what the people that work inside the animal shelters are doing. But now, just as promised, we've got our Skype guest.
Yay!
Theresa is in the house, and you tell us
The Hollywood Halloween Gremlins did not stop you. Thank you so much for trying twice, dear.
She's with the National Mill Dog Rescue, and
Yes.
Teresa, are you there?
One of my favorites.
Yes, I am.
Hey!
Good morning or afternoon.
How you doing?
Good morning. Good. How are you?
Good.
Oh, man, we're great. We're so glad that you came and joined us and whatnot. This is Rita. Rita hooked us up with you, and we've been checking out what you guys are doing online, and it's just a pleasure for us to have you in here joining us with our show and sharing what you got to share with the whole world.
That's right. So tell everybody about the National
Mill Dog
Rescue.
Okay, sure. Well, in a nutshell, we started about 6.5 years ago in 2007, I received a one-sentence email asking for help for 50 Italian greyhounds, the little toy greyhounds, which I've always had an affinity for.
Yeah.
I had rescued and placed many of them over the years, so I thought, gosh, 50 of them, I wonder what this is, So I called that number. I often say that was the phone call that changed the direction of my life forever, but it was a rescue in Ohio, and she said, well, it's actually a big commercial breeder, big puppy mill, going out of business. She's auctioning off her entire kennel, 561 dogs, and 49 are Italian greyhounds. And she said, we've raised some money through the Italian greyhound community to try to get as many of these dogs out of this auction as we can. At that time, I didn't even know there was such a thing as a dog auction. But at any rate, I've learned a lot since then, of course. There's auctions all the time. This is where breeders kind of, buy and sell their dogs, get into certain breeds, get out of other breeds and stuff like that. So anyway, I agreed to help them. I said, I know it's not much, but I can probably help 2 or 3 of them, which seemed like a lot to me. Typically, I fostered 1 dog at a time, but because there were so many, I said I could maybe take 2 or 3, and I knew the breed well, and if they never had a home, my home would be their home, and yada yada. So the problem was the rescue folks were in Ohio, the dogs were in Missouri, and I live in Colorado. So how would I get the dogs that they wanted me to take care of, because they're going to leave the auction and head the other way? So I realized pretty quickly I'm going to have to go to this auction, and then whatever dogs they want me to take, I'll bring them back. And so that put me a few days later standing on the inside of a puppy mill. I've been involved in rescue all my life. I've rescued animals since I was a little tiny kid, really. But there I stood inside the building, and I mean, honestly, it was so incredibly heartbreaking. We all had seen the pictures and heard the stories or whatever, but until you're standing in the middle of it, looking at the animals caged like that, and fearful and just smelly, and it was just so devastating. And really, I often say right there in those first few seconds that I was in that first building, Mill Dog Rescue was born.
What is it about the I guess like you would call it like the commercial breeding industry that really attracted you or got you fired up? I know there's a lot of issues that affect animals, and you've got abandonment and all this stuff, but like these puppy mills and kind of like the commercial aspect of it, what was it about that really got you fired up?
Well, when you see hundreds of dogs living all in little wire cages, obviously timid, no medical care to speak of, dogs are our friends, and that's how I've always known and loved them. And to see them, treated just as a commodity, that's where when you see it with your own eyes, you really realize, they are nothing but a means to a dollar to these people. And of course, dogs mean a lot more than that, as we all know. And so it was just, it just ripped my heart out. It was hard for me to just choke the tears back looking at so many animals living like that. And so, yeah, it's the commodity of it all, the notion that, really all they are is a means to a dollar for these large-scale commercial breeding facilities. And, the means to that dollar never gets put back into those dogs. It just gets put into the pocket. In other words, there's no vet care. There's minimal everything. And when they're done and can't produce any longer, which is typically at 5 to 7 years old, they're killed. I don't think I have to go much deeper than that. It's pretty unfair life for the dogs.
That's right. So tell me, with our audience, what can you say to them? Am I wrong with the media approach? Hey. To me, it's about uncovering and letting the general public know, just getting a voice. What do you say that people could do to help you in your fight and change overall?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Foster. it is all about, that night when I drove home, I wound up coming home from that experience with 13 dogs. So that was an interesting, the next months were crazy, but it's true. I was thinking all that night, driving all night with these dogs, how do you educate a nation the size of this? How do you stop people from being so impulsive and from closing their eye? I always say the puppies are their parents' worst enemies because they're so cute, so we all see them there in the pet store window, and they just grab your heart. They're adorable, and a lot of people are still willing to look past where did they come from because they want them, and that's the society we live in. So it is about education. That night driving home with those 13 dogs, I just kept thinking, how on earth do you get the word out about this? I know most dog-loving people are not going to be okay with what I had just experienced, and so I did always come back to media because that touches a lot of people, in a short amount of time. Stopping that impulsiveness, dogs are, 12 to sometimes 16, 18-year commitment. They're not really, people shouldn't just walk through the mall and, oh, look at that cute puppy and bring it home. And, a lot of those dogs wind up in shelters. So it's about education. It's about, teaching and showing people this is what mommy and daddy live like so that you can easily walk in a store and buy a puppy any day of the week. The mom and dad is paying a really high price for that.
Yeah, I think we get out the young kids and start educating them when they're early. It's hard to change adults' minds sometimes. I mean, sometimes you just get people that are just dead set on their whatever it is that drives them to think that that's cool, like putting all those animals in a cage and just breeding them or whatever. Like that's a whole nother story. But I do see the capacity for kids, and when just like with many things, if you educate them early and get them to think that it's not cool, then they carry on through the next generation. But anyway, Theresa, we're running up against it. Can you tell people where they can get in contact with you, whether it's a Facebook or your website, and share that with the people so they can help you guys and get in contact with you?
Sure. The best place is our website, which is milldogrescue.org. And at the bottom of the homepage, we've got all our links to Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, all that. We have a lot of information on the website. Of course, all of our dogs that are available for adoption, and a little bit more about what we do and how we do it and why.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for tuning in and sharing with us. I mean, the commercial breeding is just, it's a huge problem, and we're gonna chat with Josh a little bit about that aspect as well. But I think you've done a great service with just educating the general public, because we get a lot of people that aren't necessarily just dog people that watch the show, and they just tune in not only to get entertained but to learn stuff like from scratch and being able to just talk about some of these issues that they may not even know. I think it really helps. So thank you so much for joining us, and we definitely want to have you back on.
Let Josh know I so appreciate his work as well. He's very well spoken, and I have a huge heart for the pitties as well. So great work on your guys' behalf as well.
Likewise, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, that's Theresa from the National Mill Dog Rescue. You guys make sure you tune into their website.
Hey.
We're gonna check out a video real quick, and then we're gonna come back with Josh and kind of wrap this thing up. This is our good friend Dr. Dave. These are segments that our partner Rita puts together, and Dr. Dave kind of lets us know a little bit about how to care for our animals and stuff like that. And there's a lot of good information.
We try to
there,
cover the whole.
We'll be right back. Check out this Dr. Dave.
I'm Dr. Dave, and welcome to Taking Care of Your Pet. In the next couple of installments, we're going to discuss a relatively common skin condition that is usually easily managed and treated. But because of its appearance and its common name, it can make pet owners or those considering a pet to have some second thoughts. That skin condition is mange. This week, we will discuss demodectic mange, or demodicosis. Demodicosis is caused by a mite that has a commensal relationship with its host. A commensal relationship is one in which one organism lives off of another one, but causes it no ill effects. Normally, Demodex are found in very small numbers in hair follicles and sebaceous glands of healthy animals. Similar mites live in the same locations in humans. Demodex are passed from a mother dog to her puppies in the first 2 to 3 days of their lives. Juvenile demodicosis is normally first noted in young dogs, and it takes as long as 3 to 6 months for an infestation to be seen. Adult onset demodicosis is usually associated with internal disease and a suppressed immune system. The reasons a given dog may develop a proliferation of Demodex are unknown, but we suspect it depends on their immune systems and genetic factors. Dogs afflicted with demodectic mange can present in several different ways. Lesions can include focal to widespread areas of hair loss with scaling and crusting. Itching may or may not be present. Veterinarians usually diagnose demodectic mange via skin scraping. We will grab a lesion between our fingers and squeeze a bit to force potential mites out of the hair follicles. We'll then take a scalpel blade, dip it in a drop of mineral oil, and scrape it across the affected area until we draw a bit of blood. This is necessary because we have to scrape to the level of skin at which the Demodex live. We will repeat this process in several spots to increase our chances of obtaining a number of mites. We scrape the material onto a microscope slide and place it under a microscope and look for the mites. If we confirm the presence of a large number of mites, we can select from several methods of treatment. Your veterinarian's choice may differ from mine. Drugs work. It is very important to leave the choice of the drug and dosing to your vet. Some dogs may have a reaction to a particular drug, so another one must be selected. Depending on the drug selected, we may start with an extremely small quantity for 1 to several days and then increase the dose appropriately. In this way, we can check for adverse reactions and hypersensitivities without doing real harm to an animal. It can be very easy for someone unfamiliar with the drugs to be suspicious of the tiny amounts we might use. Please do not attempt to calculate dosages on your own. An overdose is easy to give and can be very harmful to your dog. The mite we will discuss next time, the Sarcoptes mite, may be transmitted by contact with an infected dog, but the mites will only live for 3 or 4 days on a human or another animal. They may cause some rashes, but they will not thrive on a person. I've treated both types of mite infestation and have yet to develop a rash or transmit the disease to another dog. You can wear rubber exam gloves or dishwashing gloves while treating your dog for mites and all but eliminate your risk of contracting them. There really is no reason to fear a mangy dog. Next time we will discuss a mite that is a bit trickier to diagnose but is easier to treat. I'm Dr. Dave. Thanks for watching and thanks for taking care of your pet.
All right, that was our good segment from Dr. Dave, always letting you guys know how to take care of your pet. I love those segments. Simple, straight to the point, you know what I mean? They give you some practical advice on how to take care of your pet. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Rita, for hooking that up. As always, we've got our resident adoption specialist, Paula. We're going to try to get her on the line with Skype. She lets us know some dogs, some pit bulls out there that are available for adoption around the country, and we throw their pictures up, and hopefully, if they're in your area, you guys can pick out the information, find the website, find the phone number, contact them, and maybe foster them, help transport them, adopt them. There's a ton of ways you can get involved with that. So let's try to see if we can get Paula on the line. Paula's there. Hey. So let's see. Hey, Paula, are you there?
Come. Hi, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Oh man, I thought we lost you. We had so many gremlins today. so let's
I've been trying to kick them out of the chat room and off of the stream.
Well, without further ado,
we're up against the time, Paula, so we're gonna try to rip through these pretty quickly. But let us know these 5 animals these beautiful animals that need our help.
Okay, here we go. The first two adoptables today are from Rising Dove Rescue. It's the California branch. The first one is Booker. Booker is a lab pit mix. He's 21 months old, a sweet boy, and he would make a great family addition in your home. The second picture that we have, this is Nina. Nina is a 3-year-old pit. She's a sweet dog, loves affection, but she needs to be an only child. For more information on Booker or Nina, call Theresa Maston at 661-319-8038. The next photo we have today is a collage of dogs, and all of these dogs need a new home. All shelters everywhere across the United States are packed with owner turn-ins. It's a bad time for the economy right now, and people are turning in their dogs faster than they can find homes for them. So please help if you can. This particular picture is Morrow County Dog Shelter, and that's Mount Gilead, Ohio, 419-946-1747. And the next one we have is Mallory. Mallory is looking for her forever home. Mallory says, I have been at the Humane Society for 2 years. I was adopted by a lovely family, but due to changes in the home, my adoption didn't work out. I'm looking for my forever home where I can be the only princess and not have to share my family with other fur kids. She is at Almost Home Shelter, and that is in Southfield, Michigan. The number there is 248-200-2695. And our last dog today is Keno. Keno is in Gordon, Arkansas. This is Keno, and since his owners never came forward to claim him, he's now available for adoption. He is an American Bulldog mix with a very sweet personality. For more information on Keno, call 870-406-0273.
Awesome.
And if any of these 5 lucky dogs isn't quite what you're looking for, I invite you to visit Paul's Pit Parade or our new site, www.fostersadoptables on Facebook, for more of our fur friends looking for loving homes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Paula. We're hate to rush you off. We're just up against it. We wanted to talk really quickly with Josh because he wanted to talk about some of the common issues that go on with these dog bite incidents before we take off. Josh.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on, the irresponsibility aspect involved when we're talking about dogs that cause a human fatality or a mauling on a person. There's 2 elements that really fit these situations almost every single time. It's either a roaming dog, that is loose and roaming stray, or it is the irresponsibility of the owner by not supervising a child who may, walk into a backyard, get around a chained dog, and this all happens while the adult's inside, not even watching the child or something. So, but primarily it's roaming stray dogs that do these attacks. So, let's be more responsible. People just need to be more responsible, and targeting literally millions of dogs for the actions of 20 per year is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean it's very lopsided and incongruent with what actually goes on, and we know it just out here in LA and in our surrounding areas, this is an everyday kind of thing, and people with their backyard gates open, and I mean, you can just walk outside and see dogs running around. And
if pit bulls were truly vicious, like they say, there would be
you would think so, right?
100 maulings a day.
But the one that does happen is the one that gets blown out of proportion, and they don't even account for the other dogs and stuff that are doing it. But look, we want to thank so much Josh for stopping by with Odie. she's been going crazy.
To come back.
The set record, Odie.
And we want to talk because I'm going to have a little summit,
Yeah, definitely after the debate. That would be great to see how things.
And I can also Skype. I mean, I can come or Skype.
Oh, okay. No, that sounds.
I got Skype too. So.
That sounds great, man. Well, we've had a.
The debate is this upcoming Friday, the 8th at 3:30. No one can physically attend, but you can stream it on the Press Enterprise website. And if you go to my Facebook page, the links are there.
What's your Facebook?
That's facebook.com/Swaylove, SWAYLOVE.
Awesome. Well, look, guys, that's all we got for this week. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Everybody that's in the chat room, we want to send our love. Cheryl, Rita, Paula, Margot, Leah, everybody that's in there, Dog Father, Dog Mother, all you guys that are in there banging it out for us. We thank you guys so much for your support. The show is what it is because of everybody out there. So
now it's
tell
time
tell
to
a
say
tell a friend, like I said, the support means a great deal to us, and hopefully we're making a difference for some of these dogs and the people that love them. So for Foster Quarter, for Josh, I'm Danny. This has been Conversations with a Pitbull Live. Thank you to RMC Studios and Pitbull Energy Drink for allowing us to do this, and we'll catch you guys next week.
And I approve this message. I'm a Pitbull, and I approve this message.